I can almost guarantee that most wargamers have never heard of this series, which is extremely unfortunate because it is one of the most tactically challenging and immersive games I have ever played. Wargamers will battle their way across several conflicts, whether they're reliving the infamous battles of Market Garden, aka Hell's Highway or Highway 69, or if they're defending the hills of Afghanistan from the Soviets, role-playing as the Lion of Panjshir. Players will launch assaults on the Eastern Front commanding large Soviet tank platoons, or they'll find themselves on the Fulda Gap dropping cluster munitions on the opposing force. They can use precision-guided munitions in Shock Force 2, or they can use hyper-lethal modern weapons in Black Sea. This series basically has it all, but it does each conflict almost perfectly. The developers mastered their craft. The game has no hit points. It's all about armor penetration, and it is a blast and a sight to behold. And I hope that any wargamer or any casual wargamer spends at least 5 minutes in this game because they will never look at wargaming the same. Welcome to the channel. Today we find ourselves in Syria playing as a US force. Today we are breaching this town, and if you like military strategy, tactics, and doctrine and seeing it applied to strategy games, this is definitely the channel for you. So make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon for free after action reports and head on over to the community tab for after video discussions. This is a should you buy. And the question really isn't should you buy combat mission. It's which conflict of combat mission you should buy or which iteration of the series is right for you. The series spans so many conflicts and it often confuses players. They don't know which game to buy. They're overwhelmed by all the choices and decisions they need to make because the game is an absolute masterpiece and they want to participate in every conflict or every version of the game there is. And in this one, Shock Force 2, I'm going to tell you why you should buy this series. You can roleplay as either the US forces or the Syrians, an asymmetric force defending their homeland, or the US forces attempting to overthrow the government. The game has one campaign and a small training campaign, as well as 2 different ways to play. You can play as real-time or turn-based. We are currently playing as the turn-based mode. We've just launched an assault into this town. We have 2 forces. We have a small contingent over there on the right-hand side to secure our flank. We've identified the police compound, which we think is a position of power, and we're going to breach this wall. Unfortunately, our U.S. forces have aligned themselves along this wall, so we need to pull them back. What makes this game so great is how simple all the controls are. So we're going to pull this U.S. force back to this position right here. Once both our forces are on this wall, we're going to breach the wall with our Bradley, and then we're going to breach this wall and basically blow this whole section of wall open with our forces. Our command platoon is slowly getting into position. They're going to get onto this roof right here where they have a javelin, and they're going to identify any enemy technicals that they see, and they're going to eliminate them with extreme hostility. We continue to position our forces. Our Bradley continues to stand by. What makes this game an absolute gem is how simple all the controls are. The game isn't complicated with logistics. It doesn't try and overwhelm the player with a complicated UI. It wants the player to be down on the kinetic war, and it wants them to understand the weapon systems. Here we can see the amount of ammo we have. Don't let that overwhelm you as a new player. A lot of people can attempt to refer to this as an Excel simulator. No, every game, you just don't have infinite ammo. Over here you can see there's MLAW or M136's anti-tank weapons. We can also look at our current units. We can see they have demo charges, binoculars, night vision, M249s, a myriad of different weapons, M4s with M203s armed on them, which means they have grenades. And now we're going to breach this wall in 9 seconds. These 2 units are currently in position. As you can see, they're engaging a hostile force down the road. And they've already caused 1 casualty because that Syrian force put themselves on the roof, which is ideally not a tactically good situation. And we probably should reconsider this position right here. So let's breach this wall with this Bradley. Once this wall is breached, we will continue our assault, and we'll move our forces along the wall to start targeting units along that compound. We're going to pull this unit back 2 around here. We really want to get them into position, and we're going to put them on the roof. Ideally not a smart move, so we're going to cancel that movement, and we're just going to fall back. We really don't want to make any rush moves currently. All right, our Bradley's going to begin to engage this wall, breach it for the U.S. forces, and then proceed to engage any units that are inside that town. Combat mission allows the players to experience all airs with each air-specific weapon system. This means players will command M1s in Syria, Churchills in the Netherlands. The question is not should you buy combat mission, but which one is right for you. Shock Force 2 is a game in Syria. This wall is now breached, and now we're going to move our U.S. forces up. Ideally, the graphics are I think the graphics are fantastic for what they're trying to accomplish. I don't think the graphics are underdeveloped, overdeveloped. The game is really all about the combat. It's not about being super or overly graphically challenging on your computer system. It's about putting players in the war, in the kinetic war, and allowing them to immerse themselves in this type of environment. It's by far one of the best done war games I think I've ever played. And I think anyone who likes this sort of simulator or any type of simulator is going to find joy or excitement in this game. As we continue to move our U.S. forces up and get them into position along this wall, we need to ensure that they have cover. Ideally, on our next turn, we're going to continue to break down this wall with our Bradley to provide our units with line of sight. Unfortunately, our units decided not to breach the wall. They decided to blow the ground for some reason, or they decided to blow the wall behind them. That's something to make note of. The AI for breaching walls is a bit challenging to use. We're going to go follow up with our units over here on the right-hand side. These units already eliminated a hostile, and for our next move, we're going to cross this open street. Something that's challenging in most games because you generally lose a lot of forces crossing open ground and open areas. Our Bradleys, as you can see, the Syrians continue to attempt to move across this open ground to reinforce the police station and their objective, which is possibly not the smartest thing for them to do. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to blow out the corner right here. This force, we're going to breach this wall. Like so. This force right here is also going to do the same. And then this unit right here is going to get on the roof and identify any hostiles that they need to. It's time to make our moves and launch our assault. As our units get on the roof, our Bradley is going to provide them with cover. Our units are going to make their first offensive moves in an attempt to get into the town. Once both units are in position, we're going to continue this assault down this road. All right. Oh. That was a mistake, as you can see. We just lost a massive amount of fighting force right there. These units are currently pinned, and our Bradley does not have line of sight onto that unit, so they have no fire support. So after breaching that wall, we should have moved that Bradley up. And just like this, we were just extremely punished for one mistake, and we basically lost a lot of our anti-tank capability, a machine gunner, and these units are still stuck out in the open with next to no cover. And this is one of the challenging aspects of this game. One fatal mistake like that, and we just got massive casualties. So the number one thing we need to do is not overreact. We're just going to position our Bradley right here, and we're going to move them to target this building. These units right here need to move up. And we just lost a whole platoon. That's absolutely insane. Oh, that was a mistake because they're going to run through that door. No, dude. No. Joe's just sending his troops through the meat grinder. Oh, Lord. Lots of mistakes made. This whole assault is falling apart. All right. At least our troops are in some sort of hardened facility. But mistakes happen. We're going to continue to push our Bradley up. Our Javelin team, unfortunately, does not have any eyes on that vehicle. And just like that, this massive offensive has just been completely destroyed by a few mistakes. We're being overly aggressive, and we basically just cost this offensive all our U.S. troops their lives. And that is how quickly one battle can turn inside this game. And so, as I stated before, this game is not about figuring out what game you want to buy, but it's about buying the game that's going to interest you in the battle that's going to allow you to play. And if you enjoy asymmetric warfare and using U.S. systems, aka the Bradley and M1s, then I strongly suggest that you check out Combat Mission Shock Force 2, because you're going to find a ton of joy and a ton of fun from it, and you're going to make tons of tactical mistakes and cost your U.S. troops lives. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. You have a wonderful day. Peace out.